Hello and welcome to Should I Buy or Forget It? How to Survive 2. With this series, I will look at video games, movies, or other things and inform you of my opinion on whether it is worth your valuable money or if it is best just to forget these things exist. Today I want to look at the game How to Survive 2. Right now, How to Survive 2 is on Steam for $14.99, and as of making this video, it is in what is called Early Access. This means that the game isn't 100% complete, but it is still a viable example of what should be expected, although things can change as time goes on. With that said, let's get on to the review. To be honest with you, when the predecessor to this game was released, I really didn't have much interest in it due to there being so many video games involving zombies already being available on the market. It wasn't until the game was offered for free, just for being an Xbox Live Gold member. After playing it, I really enjoyed the game and became a fan. When I saw How to Survive 2, I knew I had to buy it, even though it was still early access. Even though I had been burned in the past with early access games. Starforge. The first game was a top-down-ish shooter revolving around playing one of the four survivors, crafting materials, armor, and doing quests on 7 separate islands, all the while killing zombies. An NPC named Kovac was also on islands and frequently helped give advice on how to survive. The whole game flowed fairly well. As for part 2, Kovac is a big part of the game, but this time he's helping you to create a base for you, and if you play multiplayer, for your friends. The game claims you will have to defend it against zombie attacks as it progresses. As stated previously, in How to Survive 1 you were given the option to play 3 characters with 1 bonus person added later. These characters weren't customizable, but you did have unique abilities depending on who you chose. With a second itineration, you now can customize your player, to a degree. If you are a white male, black male, or Asian female, you're in luck. But if you aren't, then you'll have to choose one of the above mentioned. For hair, the white male can have short hair, a mohawk, or bald. The black male is the same, other than he has the stereotypical cornrows rather than short hair. The Asian female has the bald, mohawk, and short length hair. Again, if you don't have that hairstyle and want to make your character look like you, sorry. The clothing options are terrible all around, but it shows up worse for the female, with only being able to wear belly shirts or a bra, and your only pant options are Daisy Duke shorts. I know the game is in development, but I had to mention all that. So the customization is terrible. What about the gameplay? Okay, here's where things really seem to get lost in translation, especially with the developers claiming they are making this game with customer input, and felt they failed with that in the last one. I hate to keep going back to the first game, but it is important to compare the differences. How to Survive 1 had large maps that, while they were a bit of a maze, they still had a flow to them with many diverse environments. One location was a beach, another was a swamp, another was a volcano with lava on it, and so on. All of which were expansive, and even though you were corralled to go certain ways, it still fit. With the hours I gave to playing part 2, I saw it was completely different, for the worse. You start in a hub-like location where you are to set up your base, but I at least was confused as to the hub acting as your base until I figured out by trial and error. When I did leave the hub, I was put in 2 environment types, a town or a swamp. These locations were rehashed right out of the gate, where 3 quests took you to the town, 2 to the swamp, and then back to the town. All the while, minor changes were changed up so you knew it was a different map. But you knew you were being force-fed the same location and told it was new. Map design. Oh god. It is similar to playing a quarter of the map from Pac-Man. Straight lines and no way to really explore. Are they going to change this? I certainly hope so, but for now, it is what it is. The crafting system seems to take a little bit of a hit as well, with more focus being placed on base building and not so much on armor and weapons. Granted, both are still there, but not the first thing pushed on you, even though for the first few moments in the game, armor and weapons are more important to you than your base. Something I thought I hated in the first game that I realized I missed now that I played the second is safe houses. I hated coming across one, being low on health, and then trying to fight off a zombie horde while scrambling to turn off the alarm. Now that it is missing, I can't help but realize how much it added to the game. Not everything is terrible though. The combat is really good, as expected. The character building is still fun, and while the customization leaves a lot to be desired, it still exists, where many games fail to allow it. I do like the base building concept, but I didn't get a chance to see it in action. I did not play the multiplayer part, since I'm more of a single player gamer, so I can't speak for that, but it does have that option. So, on to the verdict. Should you buy it or forget it? Honestly, even though it seems like there is a lot of bad changes with this game, I wouldn't suggest forgetting it as of yet. I can't recommend buying it for now, but maybe in a few months, fingers crossed, the developers get the kinks worked out and remember what made the first game good. For now, I would simply suggest keeping it in mind and then check the reviews after it is out of early access. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.